Oh my gosh, we are live. We are live. It has taken me forever to get on this live, and it just means that we have things to talk about. Let's pin a comment. It's Sonia G. This is the Moon Babes Monday Night Live. We have fought the good fight with Instagram tonight to get on the live. So that means it's going to be worth it. It's amazing. It's amazing. So we are going to talk about some good things. So I'm gonna give you like the highlights of what I want to cover, because we're feeling some things and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about the feelings, we're gonna talk about the emotions, we're gonna talk about the shit show that's happening, we're gonna talk about how it feels, how to move through it, and then we're gonna talk about the crazy things that are also happening, like subconsciously or in our dreams or in our meditations, where it's like it feels like it's so, like it feels like it's, I'm gonna use the word separating, but it feels like it's so like far, right? Out. And then we have to deal with like all this other political bullshit and like so much other stuff that's happening that we don't really have to deal with. However, it's like trying to stick, right, to our world. So we're going to talk about all these things. We're going to talk about what's happening, what our job is, why we're here. We're going to talk about our DNA, and we're going to talk about how we do this evolution part and what's going to happen next. Okay. So we are going to get a little bit into politics. I think this is the last time. Oh my gosh, I feel like this is the last time. This is the last time that we have to have this conversation. So if you ever are curious about what the fuck happened, come back to this video and we're gonna just sum it up right now, my loves. We're gonna sum it up. Okay, so let's do this. Welcome, welcome. So you have helped me so much in such a short amount of time. Amazing. I'm going to say something to that. Elevate with Alicia. I love that. And so many of you have been messaging me lately about like, holy fuck, like, I don't even know, right? Like what, like, how do you know these things? I get a lot of that. Like, how do you know that's how I feel? Or like, I am so glad that I found you. Like, what the fuck is going on? Or like, you're the only person that makes sense. So here's the thing, okay? If you're here, you're meant to be here, because I am holding a particular frequency. I am emitting a particular frequency right now where I'm literally connecting to my soul family. I am connecting to those that I came here on earth to do a job with, okay? Because my memories from life before earth are very vast and very wide, and I remember a lot of things. And this happens to everybody that's doing this work, okay? So much so that I've put the things that I've remembered and the knowledge that has come up and the things that I've learned into many courses, so that others, memories can come in and get triggered. And I was actually thinking about it today. It's not that I even it's not like school, like the courses that I teach, right? It's not like school. It is a little cold here. It's not like school where you learn something to memorize it. It's like I actually put you in front of this information, right? Or this knowledge or this other things. And then all of a sudden you're like, yes, I know it, but it's different. It's not like you're memorizing or you're intaking something new. It's like you recognize something that makes sense, and then you're like, ding, 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 right? That's kind of how it is. So, and so I am thankful for all of you guys that are here that are like, oh my God, this makes sense, because I know that we have work to do together, right? And yeah, it sucks sometimes to like look around and be like, what the fuck is happening in our world? But you know what? We got this. And I'm very clear about my mission. I'm very clear about what I'm here to hold and what I'm here to do. And so if what I am doing resonates with you, okay, if you are in this frequency bandwidth, like if you are in this elevator, if you are in this group of soul family, then, I got you, because this is what we're doing. And I know that I'm here, and I'm showing up for it. And I think you guys feel that, right? So that does not mean it's for everyone. So I'm going to say this here at the kind of beginning of this video. If what I'm saying does not resonate with you, if what I'm saying triggers you in any kind of negative way, if what I'm saying feels so far out that in your mind you go what the fuck, right? And then you start all of this other bullshit that you've learned somewhere else, you're welcome to go unfollow and follow someone else. I am not here to argue, and I am also no longer here. Like, I am not going to explain things beyond the things that I feel called to explain. I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, well, why this? And people say this. At the end of the day, either you resonate and this makes sense to you, or it just doesn't, because there's a lot of people talking a lot of shit out there, and I refuse to, like, you know, get involved in that or prove how this is better than that, because what it comes down to is the knowingness. So if you know and you resonate, you have a sense inside that you know, right? Like, this is the right place for me to be, and that's it. So if you're here for that, I'm here for you, babes. All right. Okay. Yes, you want your soul family and soul family clients. Yeah, no need to argue. Empowering mind, body, spirit. Absolutely. And you know, those of you that are here, those of you that resonate with this, you are on, like, I became very clear that I am here because of the path that I've had. Like, it is my job to work with, like, the mediums and the healers and the teachers, and like, all of you have already been doing, like, or maybe you're just like clairvoyant on your own and you haven't actually like blossomed your gifts like in an outer fashion yet, but you know that you are. You got secret powers on some level, or they're incoming, because that's just the people that come to me. It took me a while to figure this stuff out. And then I like really fully stepped into this calling, right? And so, yeah, that's the thing. And so you just know, right? Okay, so that means that you've already done a lot of work, okay? Or you're ready to hear these kinds of things. So let's take a breath and let's like take a little moment to get in the vibe. Rub your palms together. This just activates our energy field. Take a deep breath in. And then put your hands on your heart. As you hold the breath, connect to your heart. And then exhale. One more time. Inhale in your heart. As you hold the breath, feel your heartbeat. Connect to your heartbeat. Expand it. Expand your energy field out. Feel your heart growing into this like bubble of energy that is all around you. Push your heartbeat out into your aura, basically, and then exhale it out. Okay, now inhale in your heart. Exhale down to your feet. If you're sitting, to your root chakra, or down to the light grid, to the consciousness that is the highest consciousness available, the 12D grid on planet Earth, and expand it. You guys have to do this every day. Expand this, expand. Not you guys, we all have to do this every day. Expand out. Use your breath to connect out to this new Earth frequency bandwidth grid. This is where we want to live. This is what we're powering up, okay? It's so important. And then we're gonna do this very fast. We're gonna do this the metaphysical mastermind way. We do this in one breath. Inhale into your heart. Exhale, go all the way down to the heart of the earth. All the way down, connect to everything, inner earth, the magic, the wisdom, the crystals, the fairies, the devas, and inhale it all up. All the way up in your heart, feeling supported, feeling sustained, feeling like you know exactly what to do. And then when you exhale, shoot your energy all the way up. All the way up, all the way to your higher self until you connect with that knowingness, the eternal energy that is you. And then breathe it all in. All the way into your heart. All the way, all the solutions, all the knowingness, all the opportunities and possibilities, the isness that is you, the eternal frequency of you. Bring it into your heart. Together, the alchemy of heaven and earth in your heart. This is who you are. This is where you live, okay? So practice doing this. It gets easier and easier, and then you're like, oh, I am in a different world. I am in a different reality when you do this kind of thing, because you really are plugged into a different frequency bandwidth. Okay, let's talk about this. Welcome to the 12D grid. So this is where we're all connecting. It is this grid. I know I did that really fast, and if you're not used to it and you get lightheaded or you're like, what the fuck just happened? Okay, we just went to heaven and earth. This spans the frequency bandwidth that is you. Okay, what we just did is the energy that is you, the essence of you that is actually like available on planet Earth. That's how far it spans. Okay, from the heartbeat of the earth all the way up. Except the part of us that is conscious and expressed is inside of this physical body. But our energy continues, okay? So we actually have available to us a way of regenerating by discovering the truth and the length and the width, right? And the amazingness of who we actually are. So this is the work that we came to do. Now, actually, I'm going to start the other way around. So, well, where do we want to start? Let me kind of think. Let's start from our DNA, because this is kind of a situation. So when we connect that way, I wanted to do it the other way, but then once you're connected, everything makes sense from this place. So what we're doing right now is we are shifting into the next chapter of our evolution. We're all feeling it. It is it is showing up in our life in different ways, and we're all going through a mourning process. We're all going through a detoxification. We're all going through a cutting cords, letting go, disappointment, breakups of people, and like just heartbreaks in so many ways, letdowns. We're all going through that on some level, okay? And this is the thing that we've been calling the system crumbling. So many times we talk about things, but we don't really put them into context, as in like, what does that actually mean in like a physical manifestation form? So this is literally what's happening. And a lot of us, it's kind of like when the rocket ship, when you're about to go into space, okay? You know how like if you ever watch like a rocket launch into space, it starts with like all this mass to it. And then as you keep on reaching higher in the atmosphere, you have to disengage pieces, right? And they release and they detach, and then they have to go like supersonic, okay? Like at every point, it's like they have to like shed weight in order to move up and move forward. This is what's happening with us. We are shedding all of the weight. We're shedding the ties. We're shedding the people. We're shedding the circumstances, the situations. It's like a death and rebirth cycle and a dark night of the soul, but like in an awakened way, right? Where it becomes really real and tangible because you're looking at it in the world around you and in the people going zombies, right? Like all around you. It's like the zombie apocalypse moment manifested on the planet. And so a lot of us are like, what the fuck? Like, I thought you got this. Like, I thought you got this, and they don't got this. And you're like, fuck, but you can't stop, and you have to keep doing the thing on your own, okay? So this is the biggest part. And so the more work you have done in knowing how to be in your own frequency and how to be in your own lane and how to count on yourself, the easier this part is, because you are receiving information from yourself and you're feeling supported by yourself no matter what, okay? If you haven't fully stepped into that, you're gonna get there, okay? Decide and determine that you're gonna get there, because shit gets a lot easier when you get there, right? Because you know things, okay? And then you can see the next steps. And so you're not as freaked out. It's every level of yourself that you climb, everything that you clear, everything that you integrate. So you have to clear something out in order to bring something new in, okay? So we clear, we integrate, we clear, we integrate. And then you spiral up and you weave through all of these like aspects and layers of yourself, right? And you're going up, you're going like rocket up, all the way up. So you have to clear all these different versions of you. You can think of it as personalities or like things or aspects. Some people think of them as aspects. They're parts of you, okay? You're not the only part of you that is alive on this planet. It always sounds funny sometimes when I like try and sum it up in like short sentences, but you are existing and very well alive and functioning and aware in multiple dimensions at the same time, which is why like people that have vivid dreams or people that remember their dreams, right? You're having dreams in like other planets, in other dimensions. You're doing other work. A lot of people are fighting fights. A lot of people that are like, you know, there's just a lot that's going on. Hang on one second. This is literally the reason why I had my phone. I have to meet a person. I was like, they're going to be late. And she's like, I'm late. It's like, yes, because we were late on our life. Perfection. everything always works out. Whenever things like this happen, I'm like, okay, then, it has to get in alignment. Everything has to get in alignment. So, okay. So you're not just alive here. Okay. You're alive in other places because we know, like there's a bunch of fucking memes around that say like, time is an illusion. Time is an illusion. What does that mean? That means that you are contemporaneously, is that a word? Like what? At the same time, okay, living different lives in different right now moments, okay? If you take time out of the equation because time is an illusion, which is the thing that is just so sad, that doesn't mean you get to be late for shit. Time is an illusion. It means that you're simultaneously living lives in multiple different consciousness, in multiple planetary systems, in multiple layers of life, okay? That means that your consciousness is aware right now as much as it is when you were 3 years old and the first traumatic event of your life ever happened. Okay, so when you start to really understand this and your nervous system, your neural system, and your physical system, your emotional system, your mental system, so everything about you can go like this and expand, then you can sustain figuring this shit out. Like, oh my God, that's actually true. Like I can go back in time, I can go forward in time. Time is not really a thing. I can move through dimensions and galaxies, and I can rewind. I can access the Star Wars that happened in Orion, because literally that's what it was. I can go back there. I can recount that information. I can go back to where I'm from. I can go back to Lyra. I can go back to Andromeda. I can go there and be aware and be functional. And so I retain my awareness here and I go in awareness over there because you connect to the part of you that is actually alive. This is something that's coming in and is going to be available for everyone 11/11. Okay? So this is the big jump. And we've been practicing this. If you're part of the Metaphysical Mastermind, we've been practicing this work this year, right? And you've been practicing it in your morning meditation. So this is now becoming, it's like next level. So, and if you're not part of the Metaphysical Mastermind and, you've done work with me or whatever, like if you have figured out how to bilocate, if you've figured out how to astral project and actually go and gather information, this is about to like next level, okay? And it's because we all need to become aware of who we actually are incarnated on the planet, okay? So make as much room as you can to handle this information, which means let go of your friends. I know it sounds like awful, but let go of your friends, of your family, of the exes, of the people that hurt you. This is why we're feeling this deep mourning, okay? Not even of the people that hurt you, but just like of the people that are like messaging you saying, are you losing your shit? What the fuck are you talking about, right? Like as you're sharing these things to inspire the people and the people are like having this like really bad reaction, or as you're looking out and there's all these people that you thought that were like of the light and they're not, right? And they're supposedly these new age leaders and you're like, what the fuck happened to you? Where did you go dark side, right? So there's a lot of that happening. So just recognize it, let it go. I have had to do some last night, I went to sleep. I was so frustrated. I have been this probably happens to you guys too. I have outgrown friends constantly. I have outgrown people constantly. I mean, I literally moved from Italy to the United States when I was younger because I was like, I have outgrown this country. I was 16 years old. It was really wild. But I knew that I had to be here. But it's a constant leveling and outgrowing of people, circumstances, and things, which means that you're alone a lot. Like, not very many people understand you, right? And a lot of times you feel really alone, and which means that when you're out with people, you're like, what the hell is wrong with me? People don't understand me, okay? But we are reorganizing that, and that's not, we don't ever want to think those things. But when we were younger, we were thinking those things, right? Because you're not like the other kids, just never have been. So at some point that switches, and then you take this sense of pride in it, and you're like, I am not like those other motherfuckers. Not that we want to talk about people like that, but you kind of get this ego kick where you're like, I am different and I am owning it and this is my jam, right? And it kind of goes that way. And so, and that's a phase of it. And then you just realize that, what it is that you're here for a different purpose and for a different job. That not everyone, like I've been talking about this for like a good portion of this year, not everybody is the same. Okay, unity consciousness does not mean that we're all the same. Some of us are really ancient souls, ancient galactic souls. Not like we've had a couple of lifetimes on Earth. For a lot of us, in fact, this is like, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 times. It's not like we've been here on Earth many times. We just incarnated to get enough information. For a lot of you guys, it's going to be the first time on Earth, right? Like it's not that we've had to have, but for some, it's like so many karmic cycles too. Either way, the point is you've either been around the block on Earth or you've been around the block in the galaxy. Okay, these are the people that come to me. You're not a new soul. You were not born yesterday. Your soul was not born yesterday. So this is what I'm trying to say, which means that you have so much knowledge, okay? So much knowledge that is inside of you that is carried in your DNA, okay? And we're gonna get to this. But the point is, you are different, okay? And not everybody is created equal because not every soul has been, maybe everybody is created equal, but not everybody is created at the same time. So everyone's experiences are different, right? Like if you put 2 people in the same exact set of circumstances, give them the same tools, they'll do different things because our spirit and our soul expands in a different way, wants to have different experiences. This is where this whole, concept and experience, not concept, but this whole individuality, experiment, or existence, or, whatever you want to call it, is happening here on Earth because with individuality, we grow, which means everyone has different experiences. Everyone is different. You're not like everybody else. This is like a big deal. And the reason why I really want to get this across, and, I know that you feel it. If it resonates, it resonates. You're probably like the black sheep of the family. Like you are that person and you're here for different reasons. So your whole family won't understand and your friends won't understand. But then you'll start associating with people that get you, right? And that's going to be like your safe zone that gives you the courage to continue to interface with, the rest of the world because they just don't understand you. So there's the thing. Okay. That's that. So find your safe place, find where you belong, knowing that you belong in your heart. Above anything else, it's not the people, it's you. You have to make friends with you. You are your own best friend, okay? You and your higher self got your back. And this is like the biggest thing that I always say that I can teach you is that once you learn how to use the resources of yourself, forget everything else. We have fun with the crystals and the candles and the incense and the, everything else around us. It's fun. It's supportive. It adds to the vibe. It makes it easier. It makes it enjoyable to be on planet Earth. But we don't need it, okay? You don't need it. You could be naked in the middle of the road and know what to do and know how to connect and know how to feel love in your heart and know how to move forward and to create mentally, emotionally, and manifest outwards the set of circumstances that serves you. That's power. That's freedom, okay? That's when you learn how to reality shift. That's when you learn how to create your own experience of life, no matter what is being shown around you, which is the reason why so many of us are having wildly different experiences than the shit that you see in the news, because we're not subscribing to that. We are in a different frequency bandwidth, okay? That's where we resonate. When you resonate on this frequency bandwidth, there's no disease. There's definitely no fucking virus that's going to come and get you, right? So, and also because viruses don't come and get you. Viruses vibrate at a particular frequency, unless they're injected, which is a different story. Then you have to vibrate it out. But a virus, just like anything else, just like any disease, that's why people say, oh, you contracted a disease, okay? Because it's literally like a contract where it's... hey, I am available for this. Do you want to pick up this, this problem right now? Because it would serve you. And then you enter into a contract, okay? Into a thing. So if it happens, there's something that you have to learn from it, okay? Because that's the only reason why it would be happening. When you're on path, when you're in alignment, the only reason why something like that would happen and you vibrate with it is because it's about to catapult the learning of your soul. All right. So with all this being said, okay, our job is to activate our DNA. Our job is to activate our DNA strands. Why our DNA? Our DNA is the biggest technology that we have available to us. It holds inside of us and inside of our cells, okay, the history of the entire universe. We say this, again, we say this very like wide range and all of the memes and the new earth circles, like everything is inside of you, okay? What does it actually mean? You have the knowledge inside of yourselves that spans not just this lifetime and your lifetimes on earth, but everything that happened before, from the creation of the universe, of when your soul was created, which a lot of you right here have been around since that moment, okay? A lot of us remember way back, like our memories are starting to come on, and like my one-on-one sessions have been wilder than ever recently because I have the private clients that are really like doing the work with me, and it's like the places where we're going and the things that are happening are wild. And I'm gonna put all this stuff in for everybody, obviously, in the solstice retreat, right? So this is like, it's a retreat, but really it's the next course. It's the next course of how to complete the 12D template, evolution of your DNA, how to activate it, how to integrate it, how to plug it in, and how to go supernova, because we have to go to the next, to the next phase. And so this kind of completes this part of our life. And after that, life is just different. I mean, think about how different life is already for you, knowing the things that you know, being on this planet at this time, okay? Once you activate all your dormant DNA, which has been called junk DNA, and then now we're calling it the non-coding DNA, sorry, many things happening. So the non-coding DNA, that's the one, okay? That's our helixes that we are activating. That's actually mitochondrial DNA. And you can go and research all this stuff and you can go do the science of it. But the point is, you just know. Once this stuff happens, you're like, holy fuck, something inside of my body is like, and then you get this massive headaches right here and it plugs into your temples, and then all of a sudden things like there's physical things that we go through. So it's like the bones growing when we were teenagers, except it's our DNA helixes that are actually turning on and plugging in. So, okay, what's happening beyond that is once you start to do this work, then you have to plug in your DNA. There's 12 strands of DNA, and there's 13 chakras. And so you're gonna have to plug in 12 to 12, and then your next level of expansion comes up on the 13th chakra, and that's where you go. That's the 13th chakra is the divine feminine. So you have to complete the 12 template, and then you're up, right? And then there's this like, boom, you're like at the next, in the next phase. But you have to have all of this. You can't be moving on past this point. And so this is kind of the reason why I really wanted to do this, because the information that I have put into the courses is going to stay, like the sacred chakras journey. If this is really new to you and you don't understand like the chakras and how to move through and navigate through that information and how to develop your intuition and to move through those layers of yourself and all of your chakras, and how to like see things and discern like with your third eye, and your intuition and all of that, because third eye only comes after you turn your feelings on. That's all in the sacred chakras journey, right? So the information will always be available. But the thing is, like, I'm moving forward because I have to, right? And so I will continue to teach things on the level that they're coming in. And so this next part is really gonna go like, whew, we're going. And it's important that if you feel the call, and whether or not you do the work with me, you can do it by yourself. Please understand that. I just feel called to make it available. But what happens is you don't want to, like, it's hard to dip down into other frequency bandwidths for too long. It's the same thing, like right now we have this political bullshit that happens and you're like, What's happened to like my happy, vibing, manifesting life? All of a sudden, all this stuff is like dragging me in because you're going down. You're dipping, your frequency dipping, because we have to weave. We're weaving through dimensions and we're clearing out all this stuff. And so this is kind of the feeling that what happens. These are all my reminders coming up on my calendar. So you're going like this, but it's not fucking pleasant. I am worthy of divine transformation and healing. Boom, there's the reminder. There's so many, they keep coming up. I guess they're all popping in right now. Okay, so you have to like, it's like you have to dip and you have to mourn and you have to let it go. And fuck, it's really hard when you have a family and like your family doesn't get it, right? Or like you don't know entirely how to hold the vibe like for your entire family. That's not an easy job, but you're gonna have to be that pillar, right? You're gonna have to like actually hold the frequency and make it available for them to activate, because this is a frequency game. Everything on planet Earth is a frequency game. Why? Sound is at the beginning of it all. Sound holds together the sacred geometry, which holds together the structures that create our manifested reality. Everything is controlled by sound, which is the reason why like our media and everything else is all about like sounds. And there's a bunch of frequencies that we don't audibly hear. That doesn't mean that they don't exist. Okay. So it's like you're contained. Whenever people feel like there's like this, invisible ceiling, which we've all like referred to many times in corporate America. Oh, we hit the invisible ceiling, okay? It's not fucking an invisible ceiling, it's a frequency ceiling where you get like shut down. And that's what happens a lot. And until you learn how to focus your energy and permeate through that, you don't go past that bandwidth, and then it holds you down and it holds you here and it holds you in like dumbness. Maybe dumbness is not. Sometimes I say things and I'm like, can we really not find out like better words? It holds you small. It holds you in like, in compliance. It holds you in, let's go with the flow. What the fuck ever. Sure, I'll just make the best of it. You know, it holds you in that space, but then it starts there and then it goes into fear, right? It goes into fear, it goes into depression. This is why depression, like bombarding, like it gets really heavy. You have to get the fuck out of there, okay? Get out. Learn how to use your energy to get yourself out, okay? You have to, at this point, learn how to get yourself and navigate yourself through states of consciousness with your energy field. Okay, so that's that. Why is that important? Coming up, we got DNA situations that are happening all over the planet as these vaccines get mandated, as the bullshit is happening. Okay, so let's clear this political thing up. We probably in the United States are going to see that what happens is a bunch of pissed off people because they thought that one party was going to win, and I'm not going to say the names, okay? But one party was going to win because we're just having this video stay up. And what's going to happen is it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and then it's going to go to the time limit, and it's going to be like this crazy ass motherfucking election in the history of, you know, planet Earth. And then it's going to shift, and then we're going to have a bunch of people that are going to get really pissed because they thought it was one way, but then it became another. And then no matter what, this is what I want you to understand. No matter who wins, we are fighting a fight, okay? So it doesn't really matter. It's not like a stopping point. Whatever president gets elected, like for real, it's not like all of a sudden we get to take the couch if one of them goes up, right? It's not like all of a sudden we're like, hey, he's doing the work, we good. No, that's not our job. He's still gonna mandate a bunch of shit. It's not like not any one person is coming to liberate the fucking planet, okay? New Earth is not coming by way of the government in any way, shape, or form. New Earth is coming by us. So no matter what, we have work to do. So I suggest like we put in our energy and we are holding the vibe, right? We're holding the vibe for the outcome that we want because we see that with one particular person in office, this shit's going to be a lot easier for us to work with, okay? With another person in office, this shit is going to repeat history downhill real fast. Either way, it's going to be a shit show. Why? Because the system has to crumble, okay? It's just two different ways of going about it. We still have to do our job. So we're holding the vibe for the outcome we want, but then we're done and we disengage this because our job now, and we've done the awareness. So we've done the awareness of telling the people, hey, wake up. Hey, this is not what it looks like. Hey, they're trying to your rights, your things, your privacy, your whatever, all of that. We have tried that. Not tried, we have done that. And a lot of people in the process have been like, right? So there's been a few. And we've saved quite a few people from being prisoners of their own mind, because that's really what it is. But this is the biggest shift that's happening with 1111, is that cause is done. Because our biggest job, once you understand from a higher perspective what we came to do, we have to embody these frequencies that are coming in. We have to evolve our DNA. If we're sitting there in the trenches, battling out, taking out swords, trying to prove to people that the masks are, not a good idea, it's not gonna work. Hang on, sorry guys. This is happening in real time. This is Sonia. Yes, hi. Do you want... No, this is Sonia. I am actually on a live on Instagram right now. This is where, Kelsey, this is a call for you. It's where Kelsey is staying at the Airbnb. Do you want me to come? Yeah, so Kelsey is coming. I can come and meet you. What time? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No worries. Sonia. Oh, no, it's Kelsey is staying, but you're going to meet me. I'm Sonia, because Kelsey is driving in really late. So, yeah. So just text me whenever you want me to come over there. I'm just at my house. Yes, I do. I do. Oh, yeah, that would be great. Okay. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Bye. Kelsey, that was for you. Kelsey is driving in to help with everything. She's actually moving here, but to help with the retreat, and she's staying at an Airbnb just right down the street. And so we're organizing things. So this is happening on the live. I love you guys. Thanks for being a part of everything that happens in my life. So, and I knew this would happen, but I figured I didn't want to, we always make it work. Okay. So we are, what were we talking about? Remind me of where we're at. Evolution, holding the frequency, holding the vibe. Okay, so I love you. And Kels is on and she's driving right now. And she's on the live. I love you, sister. I'm happy you're coming. Okay, so we are needing to shift from this thing that's happening, okay, to actually holding this frequency, because that's the biggest job that we can do. Okay. And this is the job, no matter what president wins, no matter what happens, because there are still things that are going to happen that we're going to be like, and so either way, whoever takes office, a bunch of people are going to be like, what the fuck is happening? It's the same thing that we've been hearing. It's like a lot of things have to crumble and they have to be dismantled. Which is not pleasant, right? Which means a lot of people are not going to understand what's happening, which means there's a lot of people that are going to get crushed and they're not going to understand why they feel the way that they feel. There's going to be a lot of people that can't handle the new frequencies that come on the planet. It's kind of like, this is a really shitty way of saying it, but I think it renders. Sometimes we have these, ways of saying it, but it's like, the battle, like where the strong and, you know, where the strong people survive. Like you have to be willing to fight. You have to be ready to do what it is, except it's not about the strength that is like, hey, you know, this is not the Roman days in the Colosseum kind of fight. This is a different fight. This is a frequency fight. So you have to be able to harness your own frequency and use it up against what's happening around you, to beam it out, to connect to the people that are in this frequency, to activate yourself so that you're not affected by the things. Okay. So this brings us to current things. So we have to get organized. We have to get our new earth going no matter what. I feel that really strongly. I feel like there's a lot of, you know, new opportunities for new earth kind of businesses. And it's not about being scared. It's about knowing that where we're going, we always get to be supported, that we always get to be supported by the earth, right? That the fruits and the veggies will grow, that the animals will continue to live with us, that like life continues where we're going because we hold that frequency. So when you hold a particular frequency and you expand, you radiate it out, that whole situation is with you. We affect the circumstances around us. When there are enough of us that are like massive pillars of light around the planet, boom, everything goes. It'll be like a supersonic boom, right? And everything shifts. And a lot of people will, you know, depart during that transition because they won't handle that frequency. I think a lot of people think of that moment as, you know, the event or like the whatever, like the blast or whatever. But the thing is, we have to pick up these rays and these light codes, right? Like, you know, I'm always like doing the stories on the sun, and we see the sun and we see the light codes. We have to literally grab those and we have to bring them inside of our body in order to transduce and bring them down to the earth. We are reconnecting so much through us, and not very many people can handle that frequency. We are moving in orbit. Our earth is moving in orbit in a place like this. We're switching yuga cycles, okay? And so what's happening is, you know, the ozone layer is thinning and like we're moving into a different quadrant, like all these things. What's happening is the sun rays are getting stronger, and our skin is absorbing the sun rays, which are reminding us, which is good. The fact that the ozone layer is going away, it's good. It's just remembering, it's reminding us of who we are. This is just like a bunch of like, you know, whatever bullshit that is being said. So people believe it and then they give themselves cancers from it, or, you know, whatever. It has nothing to do with that. The sun is here to remind you of who you are. That's the reason why you have a sun sign. Like when you actually start to think of all these things together, it's like, oh my God, that's why I have a sun sign. That's my horoscope. That's why my personality comes from the sun. Why is it that the sun tells me what my personality is? Why is it called a sun sign? Okay, so you have a star sign. You have star signs, meaning like you have stars in your chart. Like it all comes together. You have a moon sign. Like you start to understand, and the more you expand, you're like, holy fuck, my mind is blown. Holy shit, my mind is blown. You know, like it makes sense. So the reason why you have a sun sign and our horoscopes are based on the sun sign is because your soul incarnated through the portal of the sun. That's how you got your codes, okay? And the second you came to Earth, your chart was, you know, decided, and that was your birth code. That was the numbers. That was the only thing that you were born with to give yourself an indication of what your blueprint is, okay? So, if you haven't started decoding that, start getting into your astrology because it's very helpful. Very, very helpful. I talk about it a lot in your birth charts. So, and there's like free programs everywhere now where you can just like Google free birth chart, right? And it's like, it becomes helpful. And then you start to like really figure it out. On the metaphysical level, I teach you like different things in different courses that have to do with it because there's different ways of looking at that stuff. But just start, right? Just start. Okay. And always ask to be inspired and guided on how to do it, because that way you don't have to like sort through the information. You guys have figured this stuff out. We don't like research the fuck out of things and exhaust things. We just ask. When you learn this, life changes. These are all the things where life changes. You don't sit there and Google the shit out of things. That's ridiculous. That's like ancient. That's like old school. We don't do that. We're like, hey, higher self, come on in. Let's be together right now. Let's do this thing. Okay. I am intending to manifest guidance on this. This is what I need to figure out. Boom. Then you know, like, what needs to happen? How do I do this? Guidance. And then the guidance comes, you type 2 words, the first search result is yours. Okay. Like, that's how it's done. Like, start doing things efficiently. Don't like drive yourself crazy. Because a lot of people do things outside in. We're doing things inside out, okay? Whenever you want to figure something out, start from the inside and then you go outside. Very important, because then you will always be led to finding the right information, and then you will know. And if you're doing things in inspired action and in alignment kind of mode and with your higher self and connected to the grid, then you won't be wasting your time. And if you want something and you can't find the information, it'll also become like very obvious that it's like, I'm not going to find it here, right? Or whatever that is. I'm not going to find this person or this thing or, whatever. So, missing my soul found intensely in the physical, any guidance of this. So what we are, so we talked about, hi Katie, we talked about the sadness and the thing that's happening. A lot of us are going through that, and you're going to have to just get comfortable being by yourself for a minute, because you're not going to know who is coming with you on this next part. It gets very uncomfortable. I don't know if you guys remember, I think I said this in the money and love manifesting, like even in my relationship, I am very clear that my alignment is so important, because if I follow my alignment and if I follow my higher path, I will always be able to manifest circumstances and situations and people around me where I will be supported. But you always have to be willing to risk it all, including my relationship. Like, it was very much like a thing for me where it's like, at any time, you have to know that you got your own back above anything else, which is really hard to do sometimes, okay? Because that means that you go through periods where you have to be alone. And that's just kind of how it happens. When you have little children, or kids that are growing, you have to have their back too. And that's, you have to like expand that. That comes, a lot of you, like, don't torture yourself over it. As a mom, and I was only a stepmom, okay, which is different because you have a different physical connection. I had a very spiritual connection with my stepdaughter. But I remember this feeling very distinctly that all of a sudden I was in charge of like a life, of guidance of a person. So it's almost like you get this charge, you get this mantle, you get this like, and you're in charge of this person and of this thing. Therefore, you have particular power and you have particular like inspiration and guidance specifically for them. When that is not a part of your thing anymore, which is the same thing that happened to me. So when that was not a part of my path and my soul, in my case, when my soul contract was up, then it shifted, and then, I wasn't in charge anymore. But when you are, and so you feel the difference, like you feel the having to do something for someone else, having to, meaning it just comes through you. So trust yourselves on that. If you birth a child in this reality, there's a reason, okay? And so trust yourself to know the things that are necessary to do for your children. Again, you will always be guided, okay? Because if they came to you and you're here with me having this conversation, your children are pretty fucking special people. So, not people, but souls. Like, they're really special souls. So, we are we need to get a hold of ourselves is the biggest thing. And yes, this part about the mourning and the sadness of not having like people that we resonate with, it's very real. And it just got real on like a whole other level, which is why I was talking about it in my stories today. Do the mourning. It feels like death. Do the mourning of the people, of letting go. You have to do it. It's literally like we buried family in a sense, even though, maybe it wasn't necessarily like physical family. But the thing is, you find yourself alone again, and here we go, right? Because these are kind of the phases that we go through, and we find ourselves like, holy fuck, I thought I was done. Like, we're here again. I have to let go of all the people. And then you yearn so badly to be understood and to be connected. This is part of like our human wiring, right? That where we want to connect out. So this is what you do. You learn how to vibrate in your frequency, and then you send it out. This is how we find each other, okay? So you learn how to impulse what you want out. You are your own best technology. So start to set some very strong intentions about who you want to meet, and then really, literally, like, expand outward and send the signal with the intention that your soul family finds you, okay? So it's, you know, like when you see in the superhero movies, like, the superheroes usually are not like the popular people. Like, a lot of people fucking hate them, and they're very misunderstood. And they don't really have friends because they can't really have friends around because their friends don't really fucking get them because they can't understand what they're doing, like, on the other side of things. Like, it's kind of that feeling, okay? We just came to do a different job, which a lot of times ends up being a loner job. But once you learn to understand how to hang with yourself, you really are your own best friend. Like, it gets to the point where, like, when I have, like, last night I was saying I was really sad last night because I was like, oh my God, I thought I went through like all these different layers of, you know, things already. Have I not done like all of these deaths again? And there's always a new layer. But every time it always comes up, right? Because it's always like, have I not done enough? Do I need to lose like more people and more, you know, layers and more things? Yeah, we do. And then all of a sudden, and last night it happened like wildfire in my mind because I was really so sad and I was feeling it. And sometimes you have to hit that and you have to feel it all the way, but then you don't really have to stay there, right? And it was the wildest moment because then my higher self comes in for the rescue and I hear my own, like, I hear jokes in my head and I was like, what the fuck? And it was in a way that it would make me laugh, right? And then all of a sudden, I can't remember what song it was, just starts playing on my phone. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And it was just out of the blue. And so I'm like, you have these like moments where you feel, and then I was bawling because I'm like, you know, I'm so supported in this. And, you know, and I was like, if I feel this way, how does my tribe feel? Because I know that, you know, generally speaking, we go through these waves, you know, together. And, you know, there's a part of me that I'm like, shit, I've done this for so long. If this is hard for me, like, how does it feel? You know, like in general for everyone, like this is rough. And so and how do I help? Because that's always like my thing. And so, but it was pretty cool that, you know, I felt for the first time, I really felt like these layers of my higher self coming in for the rescue. And it was really funny. I was like, okay, all right, we're doing this, right? And so it's like, it's different. It's a different experience because you're not interacting with life this way. You're interacting with life this way, okay? And so I'm not telling you to go and have your higher self tell you jokes. I'm just saying that it gets to the point where you really are your own best friend and you can do it all. And it's really kind of wild. But then you have this like, you know, knowingness that no matter what, you have your own back. And it's so real and it's so amazing that when you feel supported on the inside, the beautiful thing is that what happens is you can't help but find support on the outside because you feel so held and so supported on the inside that then the next interactions that come around, they're so supportive and they're so amazing and they're so beautiful. And so you have to switch it on the inside first before you can switch it on the outside, okay? Like that's how it goes. And so the more layers of yourself you integrate, the more DNA strands you turn on and you plug in and you integrate, the more knowledge you remember, the more you expand, okay? The more your consciousness literally expands, the easier it gets. And these these moments in time really feel like moments in time, okay? This is not a function of knowing. So let's make this different, because knowing something is not the same as experiencing it. So knowing that you go through these layers and knowing that, oh, I have to expand, and knowing or reading or something like that, it is not the same at all. In fact, it doesn't really work for you, because then you want to experience it, okay? Reading it and understanding it, not the same as experiencing it. When you have an experience of something, nobody can fucking take it away from you, okay? Get yourself to have an experience of it, because it becomes undeniable. This is why a lot of people say a bunch of things, and people can tell me whatever the fuck they want about all the research that they've done and all the studies that they've done. When I know something, I know something, and that's that. And nobody can take that shit away from me, right? It has only happened one time. One fucking time that someone came in, and this was someone that came from the White House, that came and told me these things, which is why sometimes I tell you guys the things that, I tell you. And he explained to me things on this other next motherfucking level that I was like, holy mother of all. And I switched a lot of the way that I went about things. And from that moment on, I actually made, it threw me off my loop, meaning like my bandwidth and like everything. I had to recalibrate. It was like the worst dark night of the soul I've ever had. It was 48 hours. And, but it was very intense, because I had to recalibrate everything that I knew in how I was teaching things, because I realized the importance of what happens when people don't activate their heart and are doing this work, because they can get tricked constantly. And this was something that, over there, they know all this shit. They know all these things. They know how to do all this stuff. They're constantly on this kind of work. And so I realized that, and I realized the fact that I understood that there were people that were like bookworms, and they were studying things, and so they knew things, but they didn't activate them inside of themselves. And I was like, holy fuck, I can't be like teaching people things and having them misinterpret these things and then not have, this outcome. And so I realized that the most important thing that I could do is actually have you guys have an experience of the things, right? And so, which is the reason why I have courses and I have meditation experiences, because I can get you to actually feel the real thing that is happening inside of your body. And once you have that, it's not like you read it in a book, right? It's not like you have like, it's like, oh yeah, the spiritual account is saying this, or, in my email from so-and-so, spiritual new age teacher, it said this, or in my card deck, it said this. Different vibe, because inside, and nobody can take that away from you. And so that was like a really big, like, learning lesson for me. And ever since then, I will never start. And you can look back on my things. Like, I was like, holy shit, I took this for granted. I not really took it for granted. Like, I took for granted that the people were doing the work in the way that I intended it. And so since then, I have made special note to make sure everyone is activated in your heart all the time, all the time, all the time. I can do my part, and then it's up to you guys, right? Like, when you learn from me, you have to learn how to actually do this. So I will take you through the steps. You have to do the process for you, right? So it's kind of like that. But I realized the difference of it, because what happens is you literally tap into, so remember where this information is coming from, but you literally tap into a synthetic field of energy where the shit exists and the knowledge exists, but it doesn't do anything for you. Or you tap into an organic field. That's the one where we want to be. So knowledge is not power unless you have it activated through your own self, okay, and plugged in. That's the difference. So yes, it goes from, like Nikki's saying, it goes from an intellectual experience to a very visceral experience. And so when it doesn't matter if people throw like, whatever at you, because you're like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I know nobody can take that away. Get there. If there are things that you're like, I really wish I knew this for sure, figure out how to get the knowingness, okay? That's like, the knowingness elevates your states of consciousness, and consciousness, and light is the new currency. That's it. If you know how to use your light and how to use your energy field, you will always, 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 always make things happen for yourself. You will always know what to do. You will always manifest what you want. You can get yourself out of anything, any situation, right? Anything. You're not scared anymore because you know how to create from inside. And that's where you really want to get at, okay? So this is our plan. So what we need to do, no matter what happens on the planet, is we need to get ourselves to where our DNA is all bundled. So if you don't know what DNA looks like, go on I think there's a science thing on YouTube where they actually show it. But the DNA is all kind of, we have 2 helixes that are shown, and they're really cute and bundly and very helixes. And that's that. And then we have these 10s that are just kind of jumbled. So what you want to do is you want to get them rebundled. It's actually they're not helixy this way. They're actually coiled and bundled in a really nice, cute, very Virgo'd out situation, where it's very organized. So, that's what happens when they're activated. When they're not activated, they're unbundled. They're just kind of disorganized. So what we're doing is we are by frequency, okay? By frequency, they reorganize and they rebundle. And then once you become aware of your physical body, which is why the most important thing is being conscious inside of your body, really landing. It's system controls on, you are occupying your body. Your spirit is here, right? And all stronger and stronger. And it's your spirit gets heavier and more present, heavier in light. So your body gets lighter, but your spirit is I am here, right? Your higher self is inside of your body, and you activate the controls of your body. And all of a sudden you know how to operate. You know how to operate your different organs. You know how to operate your DNA. Right? It's really kind of a strange feeling, but it starts to happen, and you realize that you are a technology, that this physical body is a technology that's very coveted. That's why, all these other things. So we have to bundle the DNA. Why do we have to bundle the DNA? Because this is part of what's happening with the vaccines. They go and fuck with your DNA, okay? It's a DNA fuck with vaccine. Why? Because if your DNA evolves, you will remember who you are. If you remember who you are, you're not gonna stand for this bullshit, okay? So the most important job that we have is this. So it doesn't serve the planet for us to continue trying to awakening people that are not ready for this phase. We have to disengage, which is why this morning phase is on, and we have to move forward, and we have to embody the frequencies and get the DNA activated, because if we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. And it became very clear. Go and read if you have not read this yet. I don't ever read books. I don't recommend books at all. There have been 5 books in the history of me teaching that I've ever named. So I'm very picky about this shit. I don't recommend other teachers because I don't listen to other teachers. I really just don't. Okay. So my, frequency is very clean that way. But I was recently led, because so many of you are is there a book? Is there a book? So I was well, I haven't written it yet. And then I asked, and I was led to listen to Bringers of the Dawn by Barbara Marciniak. If you have not listened to that book or read that book, there's a free version of it that wanders around on YouTube too. So just Google it. I have it on Audible, and and we're gonna do work from it on the retreat. That book was written about us. Okay. So you will listen to that and you'll be yep, that's us. Okay, that's you. You will recognize that this is the process that we're going through. When I first started listening to it, I was it was the weirdest thing. It was somebody was telling me the history and the story of everything that I'm doing. And then if you put it in context with all of the things that I've been teaching, I have you will see how everything that I teach goes along with that book so much. It's that book explains this, wide range view, galactic view of why this is happening. And it explains the things. And then you're oh, that's why she teaches this. That's why she teaches that. So I felt so fully and deeply understood in why I was teaching the things I was teaching. I was listening to some of the things. I was oh my gosh, it was wild. Because generally speaking, I only get that level of understanding from myself. So like, because but that's my job. I came to birth certain things and I feel that very strongly, right? So my reassurance comes from my higher self in terms of like being understood, in terms of like having my own confirmations, which we all love that, right? We love the universe like talking to us and being like, yes, you're on track. Like this is happening. So in any case, go and read that book. That book is our official book for the Solstice Goddess Retreat too, because there's a lot of pieces of it that put into context of right now that I'll help explain through, and like we're gonna work through, and it's just like one of those things where it's like ding, 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 right? It's kind of like that. So, okay. So this is the work that we get to do. So mourn your people, go through your losses. I know it sucks and I know it's hard and I've been crying and I get it. And so mostly just know that you're not alone, right? And then because a lot of times like that gives us the courage. It's like, okay, and know that it always feels like this, and it feels always crazier and shittier and like I can't handle it anymore right before it switches. So we're coming up on the energy. So get it all out, and then on 11/11 we have room. Okay, so we're gonna start this like completion point of figuring out all of the stuff that we need inside of us. We have to activate our own selves on the inside to the point that no matter what happens, like we're kind of basically becoming superhuman, right? Not entirely on the level that like Joe Dispenza wrote a book about that, which by the way, I read like 4 chapters of it maybe, and it was really cool. That's very scientific. I never finished it because I get it. He talks about the science-based evidence of reorganizing like your habits and your patterns and everything else, and how actually like our cells do evolve. So if you're interested in that, that's another book. Can't tell you I read it all. Bringers of the Dawn, I've read the whole thing. Fully recommended, fully endorsed, which you've never heard me say. So that's a big deal. Okay. So yes, 11/11, it's 2 days from now. That's a big ass motherfucking gateway of energy that's like coming in for us. And we can feel it. We feel it like, we just feel it pushing up and we feel it rising. So it's do your letting go. Do your mourning, do your letting go. It's almost like a new era starts, and it's being ushered by 11/11. We're going to have time to integrate it, okay? So 11/11, there's like this massive window that's opening up, and then we have the 12/12. So we have some time to integrate it. If you are part of the solstice retreat, we're starting. I added a bonus for 11/11 because that's just the energy starts literally in 2 days for everything that's coming in for the solstice. So we're going to do an astral activation and integration, and we're basically going to go and like figure it out. I mean, we're going to figure it out in real time because I know some things, but then there's always some things that happen in real time. Okay. So, and it's a 2-hour event. So if you register for it, you'll be a part of it. If you're not a part of that, go and do my 10-10, the 10-10 meditation that we did here for the blue moon, okay? Do any or even any of my other astral meditations that like you felt connected to, like when we went to Neptune, when we went to Venus, like when we went to basically anything that gets you into like connection with higher frequencies. When we went to the cosmic sun, when we went to the, great central sun. A lot of people are going to be at the great central sun. We are not great central sun people anymore. Remember that. Like we are going to the cosmic sun, or we have to go and do other work. It's kind of like the great central sun has become great central station, and there's too many people, which is really good, but there's also a lot of people that are like tainting the vibes. So if you've noticed, we haven't gone to the great central sun for a while in astro travel, okay? But now this is making sense to you because now you're seeing what's happening with all the other teachers, and you're like, why are we not going there anymore? Well, we don't belong with that vibe, okay? We belong with a different, cleaner, higher vibe. So that's the thing. So, and again, this is why I say this is not for everybody. Some people want to be with everybody, right? That's not me, and that's not where I stand. So, but that's the job that we're doing. At any point, when you register for the Goddess Retreat, you will have access to the 11/11 meditation. So if you join, later or whatever, you can go back and do it. Like if you go through the 11/11 gateway and then you're like, fuck, I actually feel like I needed the support and the help and all this shit. Like say it's 2 days later, you can register for it and then you'll be able to do the replay. So don't stress about it. It'll be there. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions on it, okay? The work that we are doing is during the retreat is for ourselves. It's very physical, it's very integrative, and that's why I called it We're Going Supernova. So we're climbing through the layers. And when you get together in like soul family too, it's more powerful because then, you get to be in the presence like of the vibe. Like we all get to be in the presence of the vibes that we create because it is all of us that we create this. Okay. So it's like a collective event. And then everyone that taps into the retreat digitally, like I go here because I'm in the room where we're going to be doing the work, but which is, awesome pyramid room, and the vibes are real in here. So when you'll tap into it, and then we will collectively tune in with everybody around the world, like digitally. So it's going to be very, very cool. This is the work that we're doing. It doesn't have to mean that you do it with me, but if you feel called to doing this work with me, I'm very excited. Okay, so let me know. Okay, I am so glad that you guys found this helpful. Those massive portals stress me out. Just learn how to move through the energy. Once you've been through it before, like this is the biggest thing, my loves, is learn how to move through energetically and guide yourself through it. And that's freedom right there. That's freedom. Okay. So not promise me. You don't have to promise me anything, but just check in with yourself about everything that you have to do. Make yourself a pre-11/11 list. Like everything you have to take care of. Wrap things up. Earth dramas, wrap up time. Okay? Like literally just figure it out. All the things that you feel unresolved about, figure them out. Which really means like tonight and tomorrow, because you want to be as clear as you can be on 11/11 to do the work. All right? I love you guys so much. Also, we'll watch Doctor Strange before the retreat. Yes, Doctor Strange will help you. There's a lot of movies that if you watch them again, they will help you understanding so thanks, Nikki. They will help you understand. So, okay. I love you all. So excited for the digital version. Yes, I am excited too, which by the way, message me if you have questions. We were having hubs happening, and I have to take off the website. That all went away this week. It was the wildest thing. We had all these hubs forming around the planet. Those aren't happening. And it was written in the stars. It was a conjunction, and when I watched it, I was like, holy shit, a lot of things are going to change unexpectedly this week. And one by one, everyone is like, no, I have to do this by myself. I have to do this like by myself, and I have to do like all this work. So if you guys find yourself in the same city, like we're going to form, so when you register, we're going to form like the Instagram group and the Facebook groups. Actually, those are like happening as of between tomorrow and 11/11. So you're going to start like being in groups. So you'll have time to figure out for the solstice event, right? So you'll have like over a month to figure out if anyone else is in your city, or if you just want to like come together and meet up for parts of it or any of that. Okay. So the book I was talking about is Barbara Marciniak, and it's called Bringers of the Dawn. Okay. Best book. It will make a lot of sense to you about the things that I have been teaching, and the things that we do in the courses are an application of what she talks about in that book. So there you go. So screenshot what between Jackie and Nick, they just literally told you the title and the writer. So it's amazing. Yeah. And it is free on YouTube. So look it up. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love you all. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Okay. Take yourself through it. Breathe yourself through it. Trust your intuition. No matter which phase you're going through, you're not alone. Okay. You're not alone. It may seem weird and wild and what the fuck, but you're not alone and you're fully supported. You're more supported than you can imagine. At any given time, when you feel the hurt or the pain or whatever, just ask. You know, you got guides and angels, higher self, galactic family. They're all around you. Get in your heart, expand out and ask. Everyone is so willing to support you. We got so much backup. It's like amazing. It's like we are the operatives in the field with so much backup. Okay. I love you all so much. It's Sonia G. This was an amazing Moon Babes Monday Night Live. Next time we have one of these, we're going to be like all ding activated. I'm so excited. Yes. I love you all. Mwah.